And because you guys liked it so much, we're gonna go back into talking about franchise slash show reviews. This time we're gonna be covering Dave, starring Lil Dicky. That name shouldn't be fun to say, but Lil Dicky is just, ooh, it just makes my heart giggle. All right, the way this is gonna work, guys, is we're gonna start off with story, going to the characters, humor factor, excuse me, favorite moments, and then final score. And just so we're clear, Corey, you might want to have this open because I'm gonna do it later too. Keep the IMDb page open because you and I both know that we suck at remembering actors' names that aren't in Marvel movies. So that way, when we're referring to a character, we can say the character's name as well as who they play. Okay, and send me a link to that too. All right, so for story, or I guess premise, depending on how you look at it, in this case, it's referring to, quite literally, a pseudo story on the life and times of Dave Bird, whose rap moniker is Lil Dicky. But calling the show Little Dicky may have caused more problems than it needed to be. He's a Jewish rapper who I'm not really sure how ended up with a show on HULU or FX/Hulu. And yeah, the whole situation is very interesting and unique. It's not a parody reality show. The best comparison I can give you is something along the lines of the extremely well-written Kathy Griffin, My Life on the D-List. In fact, I would say that this is the closest you get to a modern-day interpretation of that show. And it's the shit. It is the shit. All right, so as far as the story goes, they do really good job of mixing and matching certain aspects that you would normally expect to be talked about or brought up in the rap circle, but also still finding a way to avoid certain key stereotypes that are fucking, well, let's be honest, all stereotypes are offensive. Some just don't look negative, but they're offensive because they're stereotypes. They're not based on reality. They're based on anecdotal evidence or just he say, she say, rumor bullshit. Never actual statistical fact. And let me just say, a YouTube rapper who found himself blowing up in ways that no one would have ever expected him to blow up. To tell that story is cool, but to make fun of your own story and star in it is a comedy goldmine. See, this show falls in the category of dramedy, I want to say. Now, dramedy is a unique situation because, well, for comedians, one of the things that they do when they say that they make jokes sometimes is they have a story in their life that's terrible and they make a joke out of it and you end up laughing at their pain. In fact, if memory serves, Kevin Hart made a whole entire special called Laugh at My Pain. Or it might have been Dave Chappelle. Pretty sure it was Kevin Hart, though, Laugh at My Pain. And it's stand-up. But this is stretching it out into one season. However, it also goes out of its way to just genuinely disturb the audience or show the characters, if not the main character, in a weird situation, and I fucking like it. If you told me a show with this origin story of a rapper who got famous on YouTube and is getting somewhat blowing up in the regular traditional music circles, now has a comedy show, I would never expect that show to feature him eating out his girlfriend's booty or removing the fear of eating out his girlfriend's booty because she heard him say it in a song. And then getting busted by their roommate in the garage. Don't worry, folks. That's just the tip of the iceberg. We have not begun to tickle the balls of Dave as a show, so to speak. But don't worry, we've pretty much had a mutual agreement on doing heavy implications versus true, genuine spoilers. So don't expect us to completely reveal entire concepts and synopses of episodes, which now makes me wonder, what is the plural form of synopsis? Very curious. Hey Google, what is the plural form of synopsis?
Synopses. According to Quora, the plural of synopsis is synopses.
And there you have it. British Google has spoken. I love British Google. All right, so that's how I feel about the story. And for me, due to the cast being a situation of being in a situation of unique personalities that you don't see coalesce in real life a lot, let alone also inside of a comedy. I enjoy the cast thoroughly. Is it perfect casting? Time will tell. It's only the first season. The more they get to know each other and read each other and riff off each other, the better these things get. Season 1 Seinfeld, the way the characters interacted felt nothing like season 5, final season Seinfeld. Things like this take time and experience, and they learn by doing. But when you see hood rappers who speak fluent Ebonics, coupled with Dave Bird and his manager, who is not really a trust fund baby, but you can tell is obviously extremely well off and does well at his job. A Jewish, I'm guessing partially Irish, full-blown redhead. His girlfriend, who is always feeling like she's in an awkward situation around his hip-hop cohorts and whatnot. And then genuine as stereotypical or implied thugs or low-income African Americans in the Compton slash low-income areas of California, and them getting along, nobody hating each other or immediate racism showing up. It's very unique. I can honestly say, as far as dramedies go or regular TV, the closest I've seen to that level of mixing is Shameless, and rarely does Shameless get it right. Don't get me wrong. There are groups of Caucasians that live in low-income neighborhoods in Chicago or Illinois in general. But I can't figure out for the life of me how the fuck these mugs live in the south side of Chicago and there's only 3 black people. They don't have any. I've yet to see any Mexican friends that they have. Everything is a bunch of Caucasians running around south side of Chicago, which is one of the lowest income neighborhoods in the entire area. I don't know how that's a thing. But to be fair, let's be honest, we all know this U.S. version of Shameless is not written by people who had to deal with low incomes. So I give them credit, but it just comes out more believable for the cast of Dave. Also, shout out to Taylor Missick, if I'm saying it right. She plays Allie, which is Dave's girlfriend in the show. Besides being way more beautiful than Dave would ever get in real life if he wasn't a rapper, she plays the role of the innocent girlfriend who's got a natural curiousness about the life her boyfriend is trying to live, as well as just being a character who's not just there because he has to have a girlfriend cliche. I honestly enjoy her character. I feel like she should get more screen time, or that she should at least interact with his other friends and his rap cohorts later on in later seasons, because that can open the door to new possible story capabilities. Dave always says he's insecure in the show, and it's not just about his small penis, which he also has in real life. Surprise, he's called Little Dicky. How are you surprised? But he's yet to be in a situation where his girlfriend is fiending for somebody or is idolizing someone that isn't him, or just someone who he feels is a superior person on some level and builds him insecurities, but they're also a celebrity. We didn't come across that episode where, oh shit, he's debating possibly making a disc record because somebody did something to him he didn't like. But again, this is season 1. Hey, you can't blow everything you can't blow your load on everything in season 1. As odd as that sounds. So as far as story, I'm going to give it, and this is rare for me. I know we haven't done a lot of story ratings, but in general, I don't give a lot of stories this high of a rating, even the ones that I like. I give this story a fucking A, a flat out A, as far as how it was handled for season 1. I give this entire season 1 arc a fucking A. The B plots were sometimes so strong that you would genuinely prefer to look at them than the A plots, and then sometimes there is no B plot and it's all A plot, but the A plot, it's overblown with unnecessarily elongated and exaggerated scenes, especially when Dave meets his parents. Don't get me wrong, we all know traditional Jewish parental stereotypes. I'm glad they were able to, for the most part, stay away from them, but the problem is that the parents weren't used to any level of true comedic effect. They were just parents that showed up. Also, his father is played by the lead actor from the show MASH, if anyone remembers that. I like that guy. Wish I knew his name.
The guy that plays Hawk?
Yeah.
Hawkeye?
No, MASH. Hawk.
Yeah, no, MASH.
Yeah,
Okay.
that dude is his dad in the show.
Did not recognize him.
I knew that voice instantly. All right. So that being said, Corey, how do you feel on the show? I mean the story. Sorry.
The story? I think you nailed everything, pretty much.
Yeah, but the goal is to put it in your own words.
Right. Man, I'm a little bit different. The B plots are really strong, but I thought the A plot was okay, and then like everything, I told you this before outside of our podcast. So I thought after episode 5, everything was a lot stronger.
Slow burn.
It's
That's
a,
why I
it's a
couldn't
slow
give it the
burn.
legendary A plus, because slow burns are not bad on paper, but slow burns can't be the whole show. Slow burns have to be B plots or certain elements in the story of the show, not the show itself, because we in that ADD binge watching generation of people who are delusional. They don't want to have enough patience to take something and finish it, so to speak, if it doesn't grab you in the first 2 episodes. But yeah, slow burn for me is why I couldn't give it the perfect mark.
There's a couple moments that are slow burns for me. I really liked the last episode a lot, but I did think that there was some slow burns. I thought there was definitely I should have said there's moments where I think the show dragged a little bit. I'd probably give like the story like a B. But I thought a lot of the character moments were really strong. Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, oh yes, I'm so glad you said that. We agree on that. Like the cast is as good as the show itself. Like, because that's what made Seinfeld great. But I didn't want to take over your answer, but I totally agree.
Going on to the characters now, or
Wait, what grade did you give it? You said a B for story?
Oh, I gave it a B.
Okay, yeah, because like, dude, the castmates, like the only true weak castmate is the Asian girl. They gave her a full episode or a full half of an episode. It was really about his producer at that point. And let me pull up that nice Asian lady's name.
Christina Ko.
Yeah, Christina Ko. She was a stereotype, and I don't mean, oh, she's the Asian stereotype. I mean, she was a stereotype in the sense of she's that artistically born person who you just know is inherently a nonconformist in the most positive way possible. I call them female shaggies, so to speak. They're always doing something creative, or they themselves just are creative. And on top of them being creative, they like are surrounded by music that you may have never heard of, create music you may have not even come across. And also they have the most hipsterish accessories that money can buy or you can find in thrift stores on. My current one is called Monica, and I'm saying that because I'm pretty sure she'll never see this, or maybe she won't give a shit because I've been calling her the female version of Shaggy for a long time. And my brain has started fusing them together, even though Monica looks nothing like her and is Monica's probably about 6 foot, if not 6'1". But she paints and sells paintings. She is a piano teacher and she loves skateboarding, is addicted to it. She loves inline rollerblading and is addicted to it. And I'm just like, yeah, my brain's gonna fuse these two together at some point. I know that girl in real life. So, yeah.
Maybe in like season 2 they can give her more development and flesh out the
only
character.
thing we learned about her is that, she had sex with a guy that no one expected her to have sex with. Her character's name is Emma, but yeah, with Christine, so she had sex with a character who no one expected her to have sex with, and that's it. We learned nothing about her past, and the whole episode was basically her playing hard to get, even though she already had sex with them. Which, first off, I don't hate the concept of playing hard to get. Don't play it though. Be hard to get. But the fact that she wanted to do it after she got the dick down, that was weird to me. That was not well written in my opinion. All right, so yeah. Characters it is. All right, so for me, Taylor was, Allie, his girlfriend, played by Taylor Misiak, was underutilized. I love Gator. Gator need to get his shit straight on IMDb though. Gator is
I
only
don't even
listed,
know profile picture.
not even that. He's just listed as Gator. His real name ain't even on there. Gator's in every episode. Gator becomes somewhat of a lynch point for a lot of the plot development involving the music industry, even if Gator himself immediately gets shafted after he gets utilized, which happens as early as the first episode. Basically, I don't know what the correct term would be, but Gator is basically a hip hop groupie, but he's a hip hop groupie in one of the purest senses. He's not there to pretend he's one of the guys and that he put in some work. He's just got connected. Some of his homies blew up, and he's that homie that rolls with the homie. Like, we know there's Eminem, and we know there's D12, and D12 are their own individual artists. But if Eminem goes out and he's with random people and they're not a rapper or D12, that's what Gator would be. So basically the only term I can think of is groupie, or maybe personal assistant if he answered calls and shit. And he ruined that before the show starts. However, he's still in that ether, so he was able to get Dave connected. And Dave, being the nice guy that he is, refuses to shaft him and just throw him out because, oh, I can get up now without him. Nah, fuck that. But here's the thing also. Fucking other characters all have, it's almost like a roller coaster when it comes to their personalities to me. So the characters won't be black and white, Caucasian, African, but their personalities will be polar opposites, but it gels together so well because they don't just magically hate one another. Dave he's not as funny as his girlfriend, who will randomly do weird butt jokes and make weird noises out of her mouth and shit like that. Dave's humor comes from his ability to make quips in the show and also make himself look like the most awkward motherfucker in the room, even if people are in the room to see him. Her specialty is looking like the sweet little innocent girl next door, who's also got a curiosity about the glitz and glam that Dave is trying to chase. She doesn't want it, but she wants to stay involved in it and see what it looks like. Gator is trying to basically claim former glory. Gator is trying to redeem himself, not to the people around him, but to himself, because he fucked shit up. Mike, however, his best friend from childhood, the Jewish redhead guy, I swear to God, this dude could be an Obi-Wan stunt double, or he could play an Obi-Wan in some movie at some point. Mike, played by Andrew Santino. Wow, he's all over the place. Last name Santino, Jewish, and with that Irish redhead style going on. He is truly he is truly a North American. You go, Andrew Santino, you go. But his character Mike is one of the most polite and just genuine people you will see. That if you go into any rich neighborhood, there's that nice guy who's overly polite to you. Not like he's trying to make up for slavery, so to speak, but he's just got that nice nature, but it's not fake. It's Mike's character. But the fact that he also does not take shit from Dave, even though Dave is technically his boss or anybody in his immediate ether, I love and enjoy. I smell some good stories for him in the future, especially if they do the, we hate each other stereotypical arc or B plot that can happen in shows where there's a best friend in almost every episode. And his producer, Els, played by Travis Taco. No, that's not his real last name. Yeah, Els is one of the most underutilized characters in the show, but he also has some of the most deep lines that can help Dave come to realization about things. I won't spoil which episode it is, but there's a point where Travis reminds Dave that in your inner group of friends, you got about 3 or 4 phonies that want nothing but to watch you embarrass yourself and to leech off of you. Okay? And he doesn't have a full-blown let's talk man-to-man conversation shit with him. He says in like 2-3 seconds, like, yo, these guys ain't your friends, and then just leaves. He was barely in the episode, but he had the biggest impact, and he created a situation of character development for Dave. And the way it's symbolized on screen is very cruel but beautiful, because I was at a point I could empathize with that, because there was a point in my life where actual people, maybe they are my friends, maybe not, I don't like making assumptions, but actual genuine people would tell me, even with those people in the room, to my face, yo, yeah, these scumbags ain't your friends. And I wouldn't immediately hate them or disregard them, but I would shrug it off and make a joke or crack wise or some shit. And then later on, it dawned on me, and I went back and thanked them and shit like that. You know? And I hope to see more of him, but also his character needs development. That's why I say he's one of the most underutilized, because he starts to show basically only being brave and forthcoming with Dave's inner circle, which is basically Ali, Gator, and Mike alongside Dave. But when you get him around those artists and musicians, even the ones he wants to work for, he's turned into a shy, scared little bitch. Even when he's talking with Emma, the girl he had sex with, you know, there's an element of he's still a little bit shy. And Emma just showed up for a check. That's how I feel. But this is season 1. No one ever gets perfectly utilized in short seasons. Community, first season was 23 or over 20 episodes. That's enough time to get to know Troy and Abed, Anna, Britter, and eventually Chang, because Chang just couldn't stop getting popular outside of Community. And of course, Jeff and Pierce. And, what was the black lady's name?
Shirley.
Shirley, yeah, and Shirley. I was about to say, oh, you got British Google too? I fucks with British Google. Anyways, so, yeah, and we didn't have that here. So as far as I'm concerned, Gator had overexposure, but to be fair, they did a good job with it. Allie, underutilized. Emma, underutilized. And that's just how it was. The boys carried this season. Mind you, with any cast, there is never a 50-50 split between male and female. That's a complete and total delusion, if anyone has ever thought that was ever a thing. But they didn't get underutilized because they were women. They got underutilized because it was a short season. But to be fair, Ali is heavily featured in the first half of the season and peers off. But that's okay. Other people need time to shine. But more Ali. I like looking at her face. And hair. And legs. Anyways, okay, so for characters, I give it a B. Because, no pun intended, there was too many underutilized factors. Not everybody needs to have an epic character development moment or be the star of the plot, but sometimes when they get screen time, it seems almost expendable. But to be fair, by nature, a B plot is supposed to be expendable. And I know we use that term a lot, so let me just go through that for some of you people who may not know any of these cinematography colloquialisms. All right, so A plot is the primary story that's supposed to be featured in the show, movie, or episode. And B plot is a secondary story that has a beginning, middle, and end, or Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 structure. Or maybe just it has Act 2 and 3 or Act 1 and 2, and then it gets wrapped up somewhere in a future episode. So, for instance, if there's a whole episode devoted to Dave trying to, I don't know, set up his first concert. But at random, we go to Allie, who is constantly being harassed by people in real life about her boyfriend because her parents don't like him or hate him and blah, 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 blah. And it wraps up with them coming to the understanding that, she chose him for positive and good reasons and they all make up. B plot. Also, we didn't actually meet Allie's parents. That's not a spoiler, just so we're clear. I just made that scenario up. So I give it a B. But how about you? How do you
Me?
feel about the characters and what is your grade on them?
Man, I really like a lot of the characters. I think Mike is a really good like character to contrast like a lot of other characters. Like if you have a situation with Gata and Mike, a lot of their moments are really funny.
Fuck, because they're just
and-
opposite people. Like those are the two people who, if they did a spinoff, people would immediately think, okay, it's gonna be them too.
Yeah, like their moments together are so good. I think Mike bounces off everybody really well. Els has some really good moments, and you see like his development, his rise, and that moment you were talking about with him and his friends. Him telling Dave that's not a good situation. That whole bit.
Yeah.
That's a really good, strong character moment. Emma needs more development. Allie's a really good. Yeah, the cast is really good. I give the cast like an A. All the characters are so good.
Okay.
Well, Emma needs development.
Okay. No, it's fine. You know, individuality is the spice of life. If we agreed on everything, I don't even think anyone would even try to think of doing a podcast. People need to be different so we can learn different.
There is a character later on that I thought was funny. I won't say their name for spoilers. Reasons.
Oh, one of the celebrities.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have celebrities in this show, guys. Not the ones I would respect or help save the lives of, but celebrities. All right, so humor factor, and I know that term is a little bit unique because I didn't just say funniness or comedy. Humor factor is everything. First and foremost, this is a show that is in the genre of drama and comedy, which is usually combined into dramedy. So for a dramedy, you got to hit certain beats, period. Otherwise, you might lean too far in one direction or in the other, or it could just be a episode situation. This episode funny, this episode not. They found that balance that I haven't seen since the likes of both The Mick and also It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which ironically were produced and written by kind of the same little group of people. So the way I look at it, the funny has like two levels. It has situational humor and then surreal situational humor. And what I mean by that is situational humor is something is funny because of an incident happening at a certain point, place, and time. And surreal situational humor is same thing, but it's in a situation that would never truly happen in real life. Let me ask you something, because I had to bring it up again. If you gonna eat your girl booty because she requested you eat her booty, do you genuinely expect to do it in the garage on a table where you carved out a booty/glory hole? Hell no. She's either gonna be bent over a couch or she's gonna be bent over a bed or in a bed, and that booty gonna get tongued down. That's what I mean by that. The situation can happen. Your girl asks you to eat the booty, but who's really gonna say, "Hey, let's go in the garage and have a hole cut out of a table"? Nobody. Also, and I think I should leave out the Drake part, but that's more not a spoiler. It's just disturbing, but I want to fuck with the audience with it. But the humor scale goes from, as I mentioned, situational and tries to hit every possible humorous beat, not in every episode because that's annoying. Hits every possible type of humor beat and format, including supernatural, which is, hallucinations or life situations and internal monologues characterized by physical manifestations, that type of thing. It does all of them, and it does all of them in such a way that they don't feel out of place, even if you might only see them in one episode, which that actually did happen. When Dave does some introspective reflection, or for the layman, when Dave starts to think seriously about past events in his life, he manifests a younger version of himself, which isn't really there. He's not hallucinating or going crazy. But it fits the story and the aesthetic of that episode. You know? So the fact that they go through all the beats and they don't just stick with one is very much like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's good. They found a way to touch every form of funny. Now, as far as the dramedy goes, the drama part or the seriousness is very, very few and far between, but that's okay. The thing about a dramedy is that there's no set balance you need to have. It does need to be exactly 50-50, and if you get off of it, fuck you, you ain't shit. Because I'm going to be real. Everyone says, especially if you read any types of other reviews, or if they're smart, they'll bring it up. The 5th episode is really the episode where the game gets flipped. The 5th episode is where you get to see character development. True character development. Not, let's make a joke that moves us on to the next plot element for the season, but character growth and character development. You learn things about someone's past that shape their present, and you watch the episode and the next one to see how it affects them in the future. Dave even has a situation, like I mentioned, where he does an inner reflection leading to character development. Those are serious moments. And they also show the acting range of Gator. However, Dave is in a weird situation. Dave's emotional range for this whole season is practically non-existent. There are times when he's supposed to be angry. It's never really expressed in his face or in his actions and mannerisms, but in a vocal tone. And times when he's sad, his face almost looks identical to when he literally normally speaks. Like, his woke up in the morning groggy face is almost the exact same as his I'm happy because I got my favorite drink at Starbucks face. And both of those faces are almost the same as his sad and emo face. Like, Dave emotes physically versus emoting visually or on his I don't know how to describe it, but basically Dave's emotional range is extremely hidden and subdued. It's there, but he is a character, and I guess maybe him as in real life, he barely shows any other expression other than the basic stoic expression, which I'm probably gonna have the definition show up on the screen. So when you see the other characters go through stuff, and really it's only 3 characters, Gator being the primary one, all of them are more expressive visually than Dave is, but it's okay because you still understand and see Dave change and grow and learn. Not everybody who loses a parent who loved them is gonna cry when their parent dies. That's a fact. Some people are gonna hold it in and explode later, and some people were preparing themselves for months or years. That's just how it is. Humor factor, I give A+, because they were able to touch on multiple forms of humor in a dramedy and still not lose the drama part and keep me engaged. I never know what type of funny versus where it's gonna come from. I never know what type of funny I'm gonna be dealing with when I see any of the Dave episodes. And I like that level of mystery. Now, how about you?
I think I had a little bit of a different reaction to the humor.
That's okay.
I found a lot of the jokes to be more, I didn't like laugh out loud, but it was more like, oh, that's clever. That's funny. Like, I never like, like kind of, you know, like I said, laugh out loud. Yeah. I just don't, I thought it was okay humor wise. Yeah, man. I don't know what else to add. I thought the humor was okay. I give it like a C.
Being sexually aroused by Drake and beaten off to him does nothing for you. Holy shit.
But there were some moments that were really funny. But those were so far and few between for me.
Okay. Comedy is individuality in its purest form. So. All right. So one of my favorite parts, no pun intended, I think. Favorite moments. Let me sit back down in this chair. For me, favorite moments was episode 5 because it's the Gator episode. Not because, oh, I think Gator's a shit and he's my favorite character, blah, blah, blah. Top 3. But because how it was handled, how everyone responded to it, I liked. It was one of the most, if not only times you've seen a North American TV show that isn't based around a hospital deal with somebody who's in the main cast who has a mental instability. And that mental instability was presented in a very unique way. They don't tell you what they have. They show us what it looks like when it kicks in. Then they show the aftermath of him coming to the realization. And then they also showed everyone else's response to it. And I like that. Because if I think about a show that has done that in one episode, beat for beat, I draw a blank. I really do. Anytime someone's got a mental disability or physical disability, you know it from the first scene of the movie or the show, or you realize they're hiding it by the end of the show. But every beat in between, historically and character lore wise, they nailed on the hammer. Girlfriend getting her booty eaten out, not because I wanted to see Emma's booty and shit like that. I openly admit she is beautiful, without makeup too, which apparently you have to say that now, because I don't know. I'm meeting a lot of idiots who think that women are only beautiful with makeup. I fucking hate it. The fact that mindset exists disturbs me, but society creates its own enemies sometimes. Anyways, I digress. Also, when the celebrities show up, I fucking hated most of them. But the way they were presented, besides being fucking phony, but the way they were presented, it was to show this is what Dave is trying to aspire to and be around. So you get to see Dave react as if it was a fucking revelation that, oh shit, I can make it to this level because I am within their ether, That was big for Dave, and when I see Dave doing good, I want to cheer for Dave. I fucking hated those celebrities, every last one of them, except for like 2 in the show that showed up. But if Dave likes them and he wants to try to get as famous as them, I'd rather he be famous than they do, And final favorite moment is just, now this is a more of a serious one, but it's when Dave came to realize that he had enemies disguised as friends, and he had to do something drastic to his younger self visually on screen. And I was like, I lived that. I lived that twice. The first time wasn't my fault. Second time, I blamed myself because I told myself this can't possibly happen again. I don't need to build any defenses, walls, or think about it. So, fucking, I don't want to spoil it, but I also can't describe my situation because it'll give away what'll happen in the show. But yeah, this show may be funny, but for me, some of the best moments were when it was being serious. Okay, your turn. Whilst I pour Apple Jacks.
I agree. My favorite moments were the serious stuff. That mental thing that happens in episode 5, just the whole episode covering, the mental aspects. That's a fantastic moment. My favorite scene is probably the last one, like the last scene of the show. I really, what's that? I mean, I don't want to say it, it's a spoiler. I guess a character has a realization, and instead of doing what he wants, he does it instead of thinking for himself, he thinks for his others, and he kind of gives something else. I guess that's the best way I can describe it ambiguously. Would you agree? Would you say that's the right way to describe that?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. And just about honestly, any of my favorite moments are probably the ones with just any scene with Mike and either Gator or Dave. Those are some of my favorite moments. That's what I got.
Okay, just so we're clear, because we didn't really contextualize it, guys. Mike is an extremely polite guy who everything's pretty much going well for him, but he wants to see Dave do it because friends for life, shit like that. And Gator is the hood dude with a mental disability. And we won't get into which one and stuff like that. And Gator is basically your stereotypical Lil Wayne to the core fan, and I don't mean that in a negative or derogatory way. Whereas Mike is the prim proper guy who looks like he was invited to a golf club until they realized he was Jewish.
He's their straight guy. He's the straight man. He's there to be like, all right, no, it's like this. He's telling it as it is.
Mike's entire wardrobe would not surprise me if it was nothing but button-up polos and khaki pants. And those two together is just, it's magic. It's that old stereotype. The mundane Caucasian guy and the cool African man being friends. I'm going to start calling Mike Corey. Hey,
Am I
Corey,
like Mike?
Hey, Corey, how many button-ups you think you got?
Like flannel?
No, just button-up shirts. Like
Oh, like a
buttons.
polo. Two.
You
I don't wear them. I don't really like polos too much.
Sure.
It's more like a church wear kind of thing for me. I don't go in public wearing a polo. I don't think it's casual.
I don't understand why the fuck people wear a suit to church. Who are you trying to impress?
Yeah, it's like business wear, or like you go to like a fancy formal party
Literally
or something.
trying to preach love thy neighbor and love people as they are, accept them for their faults. But you got to put on a 4-piece suit or a $500 suit set. What the fuck for?
Final score?
Might as well.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna just retally my shit real quick. I gave story A. Characters, I gave a B. Humor, I gave the legendary Ultra A+ Instinct. And Fave Bonus isn't really meant to be graded. So I'd say for me the final score, averaged or overall, the show gets an A-. Surprisingly and deceptively good, but for what the concept of it is. It never goes in a direction you expect it to. And when it does it in such a way that it's still interesting to watch. There's a 1,000,001 How I Became a Celebrity movies, fake and real. There's a 1,000,001 How I Became or Maintained Being a Celebrity TV shows, based off Hollywood or based off of just how a writer feels. And this one found a way to be unique. Shameless, it is not Californication, it is not Community, it is not It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, it also is not. Dave is good because it can stand on its two legs, because the third one's too small. And I give it an A-. Your turn. Oh, by the way, you won't say anything that epic, just so you know.
I don't think I could come up with something as epic. The show is incredibly unique. I don't think there's a show like it. The last episode does something for like 8 minutes that I haven't seen another show do. And if the whole episode was just that 8 minutes spanned into 27 minutes, I would have been like, that is crazy. I thought it was a little dragged out in that last episode at the beginning. But if that was the whole episode, I would have been like, that was crazy.
You gonna make me rewatch the last episode again, because I want to see what you saw.
All the character moments are so good. What do you say?
No, I'm saying you ain't gotta spoil it. I am gonna rewatch it again.
Okay. You could add that to your review scale. You could be like rewatchable. But story beats, the serious stuff is really good. The character moments are so great. The interactions between everybody is handled so well and written really well. It's definitely not like most other comedies that people have seen or you have seen. Just as Zach has said, it's not Sunny in Philadelphia. It's not this. It's not Community. The show has its own identity, and I did find the serious stuff better than the humor, in just my opinion. And I'd probably give, well, if I added up all my scores together, I guess it would be a B-.
Well, since you suggested it, even though I asked before we started this,
Is it rewatchable? That one?
now do you want to give it a grade or do you just want to say yes, no?
Like, yes, watch it. No, like, don't.
What else is yes, no gonna mean?
I'm just asking. Yeah, watch it.
I love when you
Just
get stuck on
it's
the
a slow
simple
burn,
fact.
but after episode 5, the show is really good. I'd say watch it. If you can handle slow burns, I recommend it.
For me, I would definitely rewatch it. I would watch all the Alley episodes all over again. They're like the first 3-4 episodes, so not that big a deal. And I'm definitely going to rewatch the last episode just because apparently the last episode is one of the only episodes that's blurry for me. So, yeah. I want to rewatch it because I want to see what magical situation happens and go from there. Anyways, thank you for coming to this. Obviously, you know, this was inspired by the fact that Ghost in the Shell did so well, but to be fair, Ghost in the Shell is its own situation. It has a very strong following, and its representation in media is always hotly debated. Well, before Scarlett Johansson decided that she wanted to do something extremely offensive. So, yeah. Thank you guys for listening, and hey, I'll catch you in the next video.